Do you ever wonder if you're in a domestic violence relationship? Maybe you already know, but you just need confirmation. But maybe you're not sure. Maybe your partner is loving and kind and funny, charming, even fun to be with most of the time. But something feels off. In your gut, something just doesn't feel right. This series was created for people who want to know the basics of domestic violence. If you know that your partner is abusive and you're looking for more in-depth information, this may not be the video for you, but you might be able to find some good information in here anyway. If you want to find out if you're in an abusive relationship, stay tuned. In this video, we're going to cover violence, intimidation, isolation, and male privilege. You can find the other videos in this series linked in the description box below. The National Domestic Violence Hotline describes domestic violence, also known as domestic abuse, intimate partner violence, dating violence, marital abuse, there's a whole bunch of different names, as a pattern of behaviors by one partner used to maintain power and control over another partner in an intimate relationship. That definition is very broad and open, and I believe that they did that on purpose. I prefer the term intimate partner violence over domestic violence or relationship violence, because intimate partner violence includes people who are married, people who are dating, people who are living together, people who are heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual or whatever. If you're intimate with your partner and it's an abusive relationship, you got intimate partner violence. Now, violence is behavior that can cause physical harm, which for the majority of my life, I believed that was domestic violence. That's actually what the media tries to push. You know, that's what they highlight. That's domestic violence. If you don't have a black and blue eye, or you haven't been beaten to a pulp, then you're not in a domestic violence situation, and that's not reality. What that does is that causes women to believe, well, you know, he doesn't hit me, so I'm not in a domestic violence situation. Or even worse, they do this, well, my abuse wasn't as bad as your abuse, so I'm okay. Clearly you're not okay, but I'm okay. I can deal with this. It's just a little bit of abuse. It's fine. So, physical abuse. Okay, I'm going to read this list because I can try to do this off the top of my head, but then it's not going to be in a nice order like it should be. So, physical violence includes obvious things like hitting, punching, slapping, kicking, grabbing, biting, choking, stabbing, shooting, burning, and murder. There are other things: pushing, shoving, shutting them in things, etc. Those are all physical violence. But it also includes violence towards things other than your body, like breaking your things, punching walls or other objects, burning or scratching your face out of pictures, and abusing pets. Just a little side note, choking is extremely dangerous. If you are being choked, that is a huge indicator that your life is in danger. Just so you know, like, if he's beating the crap out of you, your life may or may not be in danger, but if it gets to the point where he's choking you, it precedes intimate partner homicide often. If he is to the point where he's choking you, you need to get out. You need to get help right now. I'm really sorry for the lists and having to read them, but I'm not going to remember all of that. So, intimidation. Intimidation is looks, gestures, or actions that make us afraid. Some methods of intimidation are smashing things, destroying our property, abusing pets, displaying weapons. He doesn't have to use it. All he needs to do is remind you that it's there, just a little. Punching walls, sliding their finger across their throat, acting like they're shooting us with their fingers, shooting us with BB guns, or anything else like that. Making threats using technology. I know of a lot of guys that have sent threats through voicemail or through email or messenger or whatever. If what they're doing scares you, it's not okay. They're doing it to intimidate you. That's the point. It's not okay. Another prominent figure in domestic violence is isolation. An abuser will use isolation to get you away from either people that are going to support you or people that would encourage you and make you strong and encourage you to leave them. In fact, the point is to get you to the point where you only have them. And they're correct in believing that if you think you only have them, you're much more likely to stay and endure the crap that they're giving you. Isolation. Going back to the list again, I'm sorry guys. Some ways that they isolate us. Controlling what we do, controlling who we talk to, cutting off or limiting our technology use and access, tracking or monitoring our whereabouts to prevent us from contacting others, using technology to discredit us personally or professionally, sending damaging or inappropriate messages, emails, or social media posts pretending to be us. Another way that they can isolate us is taking away our access to money because we can't go and do anything because we have no money. Isolation is intentional warfare, okay? It's slow. You may not even notice it at first. And at first, it's just complaints, probably. You know, if they're moving slow, it's like, I don't really like that girl that's a friend of yours. I don't think she's a good influence on you. I really don't feel comfortable with them being around. And it just progresses. It's not like they, right off the bat, usually tell you, you can't talk to anybody except for me. It's slow, and you wake up one day and are like, how did this happen? Like, I haven't talked to my family in a long time, or when I talk to my family, I'm lying to them because I'm covering for him. I may or may not have a job. I may or may not have any friends. I don't go out anymore. I don't bring my friends here because I'm embarrassed or he's scary. I don't want them to know what I'm dealing with. Whatever the case may be, the point is to get you alone so that you are weak and you are vulnerable and you are dependent on them. Finally, the last topic that I want to hit in this video is male privilege. And really, it even goes beyond male privilege. We'll talk about that here in a second. So, male privilege can come out looking like the guy acting like, I'm the master of this castle. Or, I'm reading again, sorry. Or believing that he's the one who should decide the male and female roles in the family. Okay? Or treating the woman, and often daughters, like their servants. And maybe it looks like making all of the big decisions and giving the woman no part in making them at all. Those are just a couple of examples. The point is, it's about a belief system. Male privilege in heterosexual relationships in particular, but male privilege is a belief system, all right? And if you look into batterer programs and look into counseling and things like that, experts will tell you not to go to marriage counseling or a marriage counselor to deal with abuse situations, to deal with abuse issues. They don't know what they're doing. And actually that will put you in a situation that is even more dangerous for you, because basically your abuser will use that as an opportunity to pelt you with accusations and things, and they can even get the counselor to turn on you because they don't understand the belief system that happens within an abuser. It starts young. Belief systems start young in general, and they grow over time, and they're deep, and they're very difficult to get rid of. You have them too. If you are anything like me, I've been in an abusive relationship after abusive relationship, and part of the reasons for that is because I also have a belief system. I have a belief system that I am not valuable. I have a belief system that I don't deserve to be safe, or I'm not worthy of love, that I'm broken and I'm damaged. I've got all of those things that I still fight with. And you probably do too, or something else. Maybe you have abandonment issues, maybe your parent left, whatever. Those are ingrained from when you were little. His are too. He may or maybe did not grow up in a home where domestic violence was a thing. A lot of abusers were abused first, or witnessed abuse. Maybe he grew up seeing his dad beat his mom, or seeing his dad control his mom. And he developed these ideas that said that the man is superior and the woman is to be submissive and to be quiet and to be servant and etc., etc. These different things that do not say the woman is equal to the man. That this is a mutual relationship with two partners that are doing it together. That's healthy. That's a healthy relationship. He wasn't given those either. And you can change or deal with your negative belief systems, and he can too. But you have to have the right people who know the right things. Normal counselors cannot effectively treat trauma patients because they don't have the right tools in their tool bag to deal with trauma. Similarly, a general counselor or somebody who's counseling through the church even, they do not necessarily, unless they've gotten training in it, they don't have the tools to deal with an abusive belief system, an abusive mentality. He believes that he's not doing anything wrong when he beats you. He believes that you deserve it, that you have earned it, that he has every right to control you. I know somebody who went to court yesterday. She had taken out a protection order and he wanted to fight it. So yesterday they were in court for that and he lost. He was mad because he believed that he has a right to access her anytime he wants to. And he believes that he has a right to hurt her anytime he wants to. And he believes that he owns those children. They are his. That is common. That is the way abusers think. That is an abusive belief system. And you have to deal with it little by little, just like you would any other belief system. Now, if you want to work on your belief system and try to get rid of some of those negative beliefs and replace them with positive ones, I do have a free product for you called Changing Lenses that is about changing your mentality. I chose changing lenses like sunglasses. I've got this woman on there who's wearing a pair of sunglasses that are colored, and then she changes them to a different pair of colored sunglasses, and it changes the way you see the world. It really does. And your beliefs are the same. If you change your beliefs, you change the way you see the world. So if you're interested in that, I will leave that link in the description box below also. In this video, we talked about violence, intimidation, isolation, and belief systems, in particular male privilege, but belief systems in general. I hope that we answered some questions that you might have around what is domestic violence. There's a whole lot more to it that we're going to talk about in the videos to come, including the number one thing that keeps women stuck in abusive relationships. That's the next video. Then, can I be sexually abused by my partner? We're going to talk about sexual abuse in a committed relationship and how that factors into domestic violence. Then we will look at emotional abuse, verbal abuse, and how that factors into domestic violence too, because all of those things are domestic violence. It's not just getting punched in the face. So if you are at the point where you're scared and he's broken you down and beaten you down emotionally, but he's never hit you, that does not mean that you're not in a domestic violence situation. So I encourage you to look for those videos. I will link them in the description box below. I also have multiple resources on my website at aprilhardy.com that you can go and check out reading wise, like 12 characteristics of a violent person, is my life in danger, look at those two and then see what else is on there and go from there. I just had a complete brain fart. I can't think. I hope that you learned some things. If you have other questions, comment in the comment section. I will try to answer as much as I can. Until I see you again, stay safe.